this is intended to request, okay, a grant for maintaining the creek in Dearborn Heights up to $4-5 million, including the repair and maintenance of the bridges in coordination
Thank you.
with Wayne County Drain Commission.
Mr. Jamal, thank
And
you.
we put it on this guy over here.
Mr. Jamal, please.
And the state.
Council Chair. Go ahead, Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, this grant, okay, so there has to be a city asset. You can't, the creek is not city asset, it's the county, so it doesn't qualify.
Okay, thank you.
Council
There
Chair.
you go. Councilman Ahmad, wait, I think Councilman Wanso still on. Are you all set?
Oh, no, well, I did, I had, I just learned something that, you know, the letterhead on this was economic development. And he said he had nothing to do with this except initiating. And I thought this was coming from him, but now I see it come from our engineer. Yeah. Was, you know, I had a question for our county commissioner. I mean, obviously, before you do any kind of bridge work over the creek, I imagine you got to get some kind of approval or coordination with the county. Is this something that was discussed? Or how are we going to work together with that?
Councilman, I don't have the familiarity with this budget item or this agenda item to be able to speak with any semblance of authority. And so I would really defer to the expertise and what Mr. Deeb has brought here today. If there's questions about it after the fact, of course, I'm happy to run them down. I can't imagine, though, that they would have had or moved forward with this without talking to others at the county. Perhaps Mr. Deeb could speak to that.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Deeb.
So we did speak to the county. In fact, we worked closely on trying to identify what is allowed for us to do and what is the drain commission part to do. So even if I do get money for dredging the Ecorse Creek, it will have to be handed over to the county drain commission to do. But keep in mind, we also are working with the county closely on the dredging part, the 10 million ARPA money that is coming in from the west to the east. So we're coordinating that work. What we're trying to spend money in is on our infrastructure. The city of Dearborn Heights is infrastructure, piping, the bridges, the things that we are responsible for. So that's why our application only applies to us. And one last comment, if I don't make that deadline by end of the month and apply for that, we're risking not getting anything.
So, Mr. Deeb, I just have one question for you, but I think the mayor had something he wanted to add on. Do you want to go ahead real quick?
No, I'm just saying that for this particular grant, it has to be a city asset.
Yes.
The bridges are city asset, the creek is not.
Okay, so
It
let me
doesn't
ask you.
qualify.
Let me ask you one question, Mr. Deeb, and I'm just
Sure.
going to play devil's advocate real quick.
Sure.
There's been many times on many occasions where you've come to us and said, we need to approve this for what, like our COSO bond. You know, we're going to do 5-6 projects. We say it's going to cost us $2 million. You come back and saying, oh my God, you know what? It turns out it's going to be 2.5 million. Or I'm just giving you a quick example, or it's going to be 2.2 instead of 2.2 million. And so we're always doing that. Do you think maybe we should up it just a little bit, or is 1.8 going to be sufficient enough? Because the worst thing we want to do is have to go back into our generality and say, you know what, we need more money. We have to come out
So
with it.
the nature of construction, Councilman, is that we can't go out to bid before obtaining approval on the grant. So we're doing the best on our estimates. These are estimates. Now, you know, the worst that can happen is for us to. I don't want to risk losing the grant. So they tell you if you start the process before getting approval, then you just basically bought the project, and I don't want to do that.
Okay, so
I
what
do
if
the best
you
in
requested
estimating.
$2 million for unbelievable bridges with glass and stairs and?
I don't know if I can sell that, but you know, I can
Okay.
sell a normal bridge.
I'm just, again,
I agree.
I'm just asking the questions so that they're asked.
At this point, and that's why we went from 200 to 233, because we did 220, 232, because we actually went and got some real numbers, and
Okay,
we increased it from 200 to 232, 400. Again, these are the best numbers we have at 90-10. You know, I think these are good numbers.
thank you so much.
Council Chair?
Go ahead, Councilman.
No, it's got to be, this grant is for city assets only. Now, there's a big debate on what part of the creek is owned by the city. It's like the banks. There have been debates before. The banks are owned by the city, and just the river creek bottom is owned by the city.
Okay, so
Up to
I
how much-
received a real good explanation in the ARPA meeting that I attended about a month ago, 5 weeks ago, where the attorneys from the $10 million ARPA project. So there were some attorneys because I had some issues trying to identify just that. So when we did the drone survey, I asked our consultant to try to figure out from the county assessor's office, what kind of easements do I have, of the bridges? Because I looked at the original construction from way before my time, that actually had easements. So what we found out that in the county assessor's office, there are spot easements, not the entire drain, not the entire river. There were spot easements. In location A, we have, easement, 15-foot easement from the top of the bank, which gives you the right to enter, but it's not continuous along the river on both sides. In that ARPA meeting, I asked the consulting attorney, who gave me a real good history lesson that says when the Drain Commission was established, the law that established that Drain Commission gave them a continuous easement. However, that was before the 1957 Wayne County assessor's office. So not all of these easements are recorded, meaning that you do have easements along both the river, even if they're not recorded. And for the most part, current owners of these properties may not be aware that they have a 15-foot easement, because I know personally, I've seen people building, garages and stuff all the way up to the bank, river. There is no 15 or 30-foot easement, but 15 on either side. Apparently we do have it. And the reason they came up in this conversation is to spend the $10 million, the county requires access for the contractors to go in for dredging, and they're using that 15-foot easement.
Thank you.
So why don't we get to 4.5 million and clean up all these areas that we can work on? Because, ever since 2 years ago, since that flood of 2021, and then only 60 or 70 years before that, the city and everyone's been promising we're going to clean the creek. And for the last 2 years, we've heard from the administration, we're going to clean the creek. We're going to do all this. We're going to do all that. But not one boot has stepped foot in that creek with any projects at all. And that's ridiculous. And it's horrendous that we have to live with this. I'm myself being a South Ender. I'm 100% in favor of the retention basin at the old incinerator plant. The Army Corps of Engineers stated several times that's the only project that will keep South End from flooding.
Thank you.
Why can't we do that? Why can't we take 4.5 and work on all these areas that we own?
Are you all done?
Yeah.
Councilman Constant.
So, and this predates LED, but for example, the footbridge across the creek that goes through Heather Lane Park on the Powers and Parker. The years ago, they reinforced the bank with like a mesh of cinder blocks and material over to keep the bank stable. And they replaced there was a drain that came out and drained right into the creek. That was a big improvement. It's deemed a creek, so you could build up closer to it. John Canfield wanted, if it was a river, then you have to build further back. And a lot of those homes shouldn't have been built.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other council members?
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
So, Mr. Deep, thank you for going over this. But so you're saying, so 11B, is that coming back on the 22nd before the end of the month?
No, that one we have more time on that. That one we actually have more.
So it's not part of the 4.5 million he's talking about?
It's not, we don't have the full estimates yet, but we do have more time on 11B than 11A.
Would that be the same grant or?
It's more, we have under that category, we have until November. So we have time.
But this is under the same
Umbrella,
money,
yes.
umbrella of the 4.5 he's talking about? And I know you requested 1.8 million. Are you really comfortable with that number? Or are we gonna be way under, you think? I mean, with all the inflation and stuff,
No.
We can always amend this. I encourage you to approve this now, and we will work with the state representative on amending this. If we can amend it, we will do a further investigation okay, to find out if that's possible. So I encourage you right now, please approve
Thank
this.
you, Mr. Jamal.
The deadline is 22 of August. So there is no, I do not oppose this. I encourage to apply for more money. We have the state here, we have the county, we have good relations. I came here to take my classes, but I had to say a couple of words.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're gonna take this up. We're gonna take this up.
Council Chair, I just have one more thing. The last further let it be resolved that the city of Dearborn Heights hereby assign the chief of staff as the environmental review certifying officer. I mean, that,
Mr. Deep, can you explain that for
That's
us?
on behalf of.
are those, do you need credentials for that, or what qualifications does the chief of staff have to do all this application work, grant agreement payment requests, personal authorization to execute additional documents requiring carrying out complete grant? I mean, our chief of staff is got her hands full, and this is putting another, shouldn't maybe Director Jamal do this job? I mean,
Council Chair.
Well, it's a CDBG,
Please.
so it's up to the council, up to the nation. From the technical point of view.
Please,
Please, at the podium.
Mr. Jamal, please come up to the podium. Mr. Deep, can you also, or maybe the mayor can answer. Go ahead, Mayor.
Mayor, we can't hear you. Is your microphone on?
Go ahead, Mayor. Can you repeat that? Mr. Deeb, I understand you're frustrated and things can get a little emotional. That's just,
I was expecting kudos, actually, not, we're going for 90% funding that to offset and reduce costs to our taxpayers.
I know, Mr. Deeb,
And
but keep in mind, Mr. Deeb, please, just keep in mind, all the councilman, I think, is trying to say is to one, get an understanding.
No.
And well, hang on, at least for myself, this is how I'm seeing it, is he's
I'm
trying to
not
get.
seeing it that way.
Okay, Mr. Deeb, please.
I'm not.
What I'd like to believe is he's trying to see an understanding, and what I'd also like to believe is if there's more money at the table, why can't we go for all of it?
There isn't.
Okay.
All I'm telling you is, this is not about who's trying to get credit here. This is a team effort. So we all have
like
a
that.
part to play in this. So I'm taking care of the technical part. Mr. Jamal is also in the group. We also hired and you approved a consultant to be the scout for grants. And he's the one that found that. And he's assisting us. We have an administrator on site, the chief of staff, to process basically payments and to make sure that we are within the limits. I don't see the issue here. It's not about who's getting the credit. This is a team effort. You can take my name off of it if you
It's
want.
not, it's not,
I don't-
people just trying to understand.
Ali, I never said anything like
Yeah, I don't
that at
think-
all. You
I'm just saying,
misunderstood
this is a
that.
team effort. We're supposed to approach it
That's
as
why
a team.
Guys, point of order.
We're
Come on,
part of the team too.
Councilman.
Your name. I mean, it's
No, I
really
mean,
not about who
It's
gets.
up to us to ask questions,
Sir,
because this was just given to us a few days ago. And I'm sure everybody read it, but half the stuff on there, you just take it for granted that, it's true. But it's up to us to ask questions about things like this. So people out there, now everyone out there knows about this. If we would just pass this, it would have been gone, and not one person in the city would even know anything about this project until they start blocking those bridges off. And I'm insulted that someone's think I'm making people think that I'm accusing people of getting credit for anything. I didn't say anything. I'm just concerned about this whole process. I mean, the Polk Street Bridge, I grew up on Polk Street. I played on that bridge as a kid my entire youth life. I know that bridge better than anyone in this room or anyone in this city, probably. So I'm all in favor of that bridge. I know it's 2 tunnels. I went underneath them a million times.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
So I don't want to be accused of saying someone's trying to get credit when credit's not due. I mean,
I see it.
it's very unfair.
Guys, I don't want to be the guy that hits the gavel. Come on, guys.
Hit the game.
It's my debut. Let's just calm down for a second. Please go to the council chair. Councilwoman Breyer. Listen, guys, I'm gonna this is the last day and we're gonna take this to a
I
vote.
think they're losing sight of the fact that we have 90% available as a grant
Yes, I agree with you on
and
that.
we
one.
only have 10%. And this is a great opportunity and we shouldn't let it go by. Plus Mariana is online if you have
Thank you.
questions of
She
her.
wants to answer the questions.
Okay, go ahead. Can you guys unmute our Mariana, Chief of Staff, please?
Hi, everyone. Mariana Hernandez, Chief of Staff. Dearborn Heights, Michigan. I just wanted to clarify two things. So with regards to the notice, there was a public hearing about this grant last week. Councilwoman Breyer did show up. The recording as well as the presentation that Wade Trim did is available on our website. So I do encourage anyone that has questions to go there and review it. Again, this is the application stages of the application. It is a team effort. The administrator is Mr. Jamal for mostly the financial part of things. For the environmental side of things, as you are all aware, that's typically done by engineering consultants. And then they need somebody to sign off on those projects, which is typically done by Mr. Dib and myself in the mayor's office when we're reviewing those final projects. So again, this is a team effort. I do encourage you to apply. It's really just the beginning stages. The program will likely change by the time we actually get awarded the grant. Is just we're in a tight deadline right now to submit, and that's all the comments I have. But if anybody has any questions, please let us know. Our consultants are always available to answer any questions as well if you have any further questions.
Thank you so much, guys. All right, guys, we're gonna take this up to a vote. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Deep.
Thank you, Director Deep.
Give him a round of applause, please.
Guys, and I know we just heard from our chief of staff who states that this is a team effort. And you know, I appreciate that, you know, that's how you win, working together, collaborating, engaging together. Mr. Deeb, I know this is something that you want kudos on, and thank you for that. So I'm going to be the one that extends that kudos over to you. I know you seem frustrated, but again, let's just continue to move forward from there.
Council Chair, please extend it to Mr. Jamal too. I mean, he's on the money side too. I'm gonna give it another way.
That's right. And I know
is higher in standard by me. I don't get credit because I'm the office. I get the office credit for my experience.
Thank you.
God bless
Thank you. Thank you. Next up on the, we have members of the public, comments from council members.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. First, I would like to thank Madam Clerk and her staff for an amazing job with the recent election. Thank you so much. Second, I would like to thank all the residents who came out and voted. I was hoping for a better number, but I hope more people would vote in November and practice their civil right. I'd like to congratulate everybody who won the primary, including you and Council Chair for coming number one. And I'm sorry for the people that didn't work in their favor. And I do want to thank them for, you know, putting their time in and they're willing to serve. Thank you, Council Chair.
Thank you. Any other council members?
Council Chair.
The lovely Councilwoman Breyer.
Okay, what we want to know is, Mr. Jamal could possibly answer if there has been any money found to help make our administrator at the Eaton Center either a full-time employee or a raise at this time. Resources that he has or that Parks and Rec has, because we're on the verge of losing her and she's an excellent person. And something has to be done. And we were told it's August 10th today.
I don't know if that direction would be directed to our CDBG director. I think that would be the administration.
All right.
No, please. Thank you. Thank you, sir, please.
Egypt.
Director Lawrence Howe, would you like to speak on that?
Well, currently, that hasn't been done, and that's actually in the hands of the Human Resources Director.
Is our HR director online? Is our HR director online?
Yeah. I do not see her on.
Okay. Anything else? Maybe we can get an email from the administration of the HR director tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, I do.
Any other questions, Councilwoman?
It has her, does she have a staff has her hand up? Maybe she wants to answer.
Mariana? Go ahead. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello again. Again, I just wanted to update everybody. All full-time positions have to go through a civil service process. So it's not as easy as just, you know, hiring somebody full-time. We have to post it for a period of time and then do the interviews. So regardless of whether the controller and the HR director have been able to find the funding for it, which As you know, we don't have the funding because you just approved the budget. And we would have to tackle into the general fund for that money, for our reserves. So I know that they're working on that aspect of it, but regardless, the process to hire a full-time position typically takes a few months after they go through the testing and the interviews and everything else associated with our civil service process.
Mariana, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Have you guys even initiated this step since the last meeting when we brought it up to you guys? Have we published it online?
I believe Margaret is working on the job description for it because it has to be a new posting.
Okay, can we,
The Berwin Center.
can we just go ahead and put that out there? Whenever you get a chance and kind of just follow up with us, please.
Yeah.
Thank you
Again,
so
I just wanted to let you know it's not going to happen from one meeting to another.
Okay, that's fine. If you could just give us an update on the next meeting.
Sure.
Thank you. Councilwoman Breyer, anything else?
I just wanted to see equity between both Berwyn and Eaton.
I agree with you there on that one.
Exactly. Thank
Councilwoman.
you.
I will just have a few things to say. Today, myself and Councilman Ahmad, had the honor of playing, seat volleyball at the Eaton Center. It's actually my second time. I'm great. I'm actually amazing, to be honest.
I'm sorry.
You know, and you know, it was actually, we ended in a tie. It was 15-15. I like to believe it was 18-15, but they said that there's no winners and it always ends in a tie, but that's not really what happened. So I want to thank my friends at the Eaton Center for allowing me to be there. As I toured it as well, as I toured that as well, we continue to go through the bathrooms. Believe it or not, we've seen the bathrooms at the Eaton Center. They're kids' toilets. It's something my 2-year-old son, it's actually up to my knees. The sink is up to my knees. They need to be updated. I know that this is something that we've been working on. So I'm going to ask the mayor, the administration, please, let's get some specs going on this. Let's go out for bids, and let's move forward on these 3-4 toilets and update the sinks. I kid you not. It was almost impossible for me to wash my hands had I not got all the way down to wash my hands. And I tested it. And so guys, you have to remember something. Our seniors, they're requesting for this. This is something that needs to be done. And as far as the full-time position, look, this is somebody I've been able to speak to for the last couple of weeks. She does so much for the Eaton Center. Even when they're replacing the windows, she said, I don't want it in my office. I want them to go to where the seniors are mostly staying inside the gymnasium. To me, that speaks volume. And so also, got a phone call that the Richard A. Young Center has some leaks there. So Mayor, if you can maybe have building and maintenance take a look at that. I know. Okay, thank you so much for that. And then lastly, to our honorable clerk, thank you so much for everything that you've done this past week. I know it's not easy. I know the amount of stress that you're under, but really Dearborn Heights has the greatest clerk ever. Thank you so much. And then just one last thing. Thank you to our state representative for Aaron for being with us here today. County Commissioner, Mr. Knizik, also happy almost birthday. You got a great haircut also. So thanks to your amazing, I wonder which barber you go to. I think we share the same barber, but with that being said, any other council?
Council Chair, do you mind just, I know we were asked before by the chief of staff to ask as a body. So you had 2 requests. Can we make sure we have the okay from the body and go ahead and make it official to get bids and to move with the roof on Richard?
I mean, if everybody here agrees to that.
Richard.
The roof.
Okay, the mayor said they're already looking at it.
Richard A. Young Center.
For bids.
I'm going bids for the bathroom.
And I talked to Mr. Blackburn today, and it is on his calendar. He's going to be working on this stuff tomorrow for it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any
Council
other
Chair.
council members?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Council Chair. I also want to thank everybody who participated in the August primary, the candidates that ran. Congratulations to the candidates that won and to the candidates that put their name in and were not successful. It's, they can run again. We had a great pool of candidates. The primary election used to be in September, and it was moved back to August, and then the school board elections, for example, were made in May, so make it even less of a turnout, and that's a shame. Only in this country can people just, walk to the polls and vote, and now vote really for via absentee weeks before the actual election. I have a friend who works for a big manufacturer and went to China for a time. And he says whenever a company does business in China, they have to budget for money for basically payoffs and bribes to get anything done because it's a central planned economy. So, you know, those people don't necessarily vote for their leaders. So I'm sure everybody in November will read up about the candidates and vote.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you, Councilman. Couple things. I'm gonna be asking, I don't know which department it is, but I know we had approved the 911, our dispatch center, improvements or renovations, and we'd like to get an update on that at our next meeting. So I'll be asking, I don't know, the building department or the engineering department, Mr. Deeb, for an update on that, because I've got some requests for that. And the $170,000 grant for the body cams, I'm going to be asking for an update on that. That's come up several times in my conversations with our residents. And Councilman Baydoun said those toilets are at the Eaton Center are kids' toilets. They're not kids' toilets, they're infants' toilets. They are literally this high off the ground.
They're embarrassing.
It's and these toilets are in the office area where our girls work there. And there's one of the girls right there, Rose Trepepi, sitting right there. And you think she's gonna squat down on that little toilet? If she does, she ain't getting up, you know. But we need those toilets addressed. That's for the people that work there. And we were talking about a full-time coordinator.
Oh my God.
We're talking about full-time coordinator months ago. This wasn't something that was just brought up last meeting. It was brought up in our budgets, and you know the paperwork should have been in process already. You know, it should have been done. Like you asked if we started it already after the last meeting, and the response we got from the council, the whole council staff up here, all 7 of us said, "Yeah, let's go jump on that, do that, get that full-time coordinator." The ball should have been started rolling then. I mean, this is something that takes months. It was suggested months ago, so we should be hiring this person. This lady, Josie, is super girl. And like I say, you know, I always say something about the family, and something was brought up tonight that really hit home with me about family. It was from Officer Murdoch. And she said that one of her biggest influences in the way she is now is because of her mother. And I urge all you parents out there to get involved with your children's lives. Don't just put them in front of that TV or hand them that iPad, and you get involved with them. Get involved with their schoolwork, get involved with their sports programs, get involved with your neighbors, that people that live across the street from you, a couple doors down that you don't even know. Get involved with them, introduce yourselves to everybody. Let's make this a great community. And like I said, anybody that has a problem out there, they've tried going through the proper channels and has a complaint, call me. Like I said, the buck will stop right here. I'll make sure it gets done.
Thank you.
And once again, thanks for our officials there, Aaron Burns and Dave Kaniza, for coming out and staying the whole meeting. Thank you very much. And but thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Councilman. I also want to echo a few things. The Councilman is always talking about family. Remember, guys, spend a lot of time with family. Thank you, Councilman, for always bringing that up. Are there any other council members? Next up, we're going to move up to announcements from our administration.
No, you got Robert.
All right, we're going to start off up here, and then we'll go to Zoom after. Our
Ready?
honorable clerk, are you speaking as?
I'm speaking as the city clerk.
All right, we're excited to hear.
Thank you all for the acknowledgement. But that 1,000-piece puzzle that I think I mentioned to you before, as far as getting together for election day, is not done just by me. Okay, I want to thank the 150 plus precinct absentee county board and receiving board workers that made this a success. We have some here in the audience. If you would raise your hands, please, our workers, all of you. Very much. I know that, yep, I know Dana's online on Zoom. Sally's on Zoom. Georgianne, did you raise your hand? Okay. We could not do that without them. It's not just me. We are an excellent team, and I will brag about them. Okay. I'm very, very lucky. The city is very, very lucky to have such a phenomenal team. I do want to congratulate Dana. This was her very first on her own election, and she did a phenomenal job. So I'm appreciative, I already said that, I'm appreciative and extremely proud of the phenomenal office staff, Dana, Georgianne, and Sally, our election crew, which we cannot do this without them. They're right behind here. This is all of our election stuff that really, this is where it happens. Alonda, who's been with us, I think she said 8 years, Marlene, Joanne, Karen, and Diane. I am also appreciative of our former deputy clerk, Kathy Birchfield, who has not gone away. She is there whenever we need her. We can just pick up the phone and she will be there for us. She was here on election day. She was a rover. She just helped us in any way that we need.
Heck, yeah, round of applause to her.
Yeah.
She came back for a planned retirement.
Yes, she did. I would like to thank Crestwood, District 7, Westwood, Dearborn Public Schools, as well as St. Sabina for hosting the polling locations. In addition, this day could not have been successful without the cooperation and assistance of Carolyn Smith at JFK Junior Library. We have precinct 20 there, and Library Director McCaffrey for hosting at Caroline Kennedy Library and accommodating us for all of our with the availability of rooms for all of our election training as well as our meetings. Thank you for our Parks and Rec Department and the director for accommodating at the Berwyn Center. Patty there is phenomenal. And at the Canfield Center, Cheryl and Tammy. In addition, thank you very much to our maintenance, building maintenance, Mike Blackburn and his team for delivering and picking up of the equipment. They have to deliver it to every polling location on Monday and pick it up on Wednesday. We are always appreciative of our police department for being available to assist us whenever needed. And in addition to, I'm going to go back to Mike and his crew. We did get to the state provided us with 2 additional absentee counting board or absentee ballot boxes, which one we have placed at the Justice Center because the cameras were already there. They were right on it and went ahead and installed it within a day. And last but not least, I'd like to a big thank you to our Crestwood High School Honor Society for their assistance at the polling location. We have a student at every single location to help a lot with the technology, but I mean, because they were born with computers, right? And as well as the voters that came out and voted. Thank you to the citizens for their patience. This is the end of the night and their patience while waiting for the election results. As you know, election results are no longer modemed. And so I know as a society, we're used to getting instant results. But now that they're not modemed, we have to wait until the precinct workers come back to City Hall.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, something is beeping.
I know, I think it's the microphone.
It's a microphone. They're echoing.
You have your phone on you or?
Mhm.
Maybe it's Commissioner.
Is it Commissioner Knees? I've heard it up there too today.
Yeah, it's
Up and
happening.
on. I don't know what to do. But I'll be trying to make the rest of it quick.
Gonna-
Any,
Is it on now?
From there.
I should be on.
do I get to yell?
Yeah, just yell
Okay.
from there.
Instead of modeming, the process now entails the tabulator cards from each precinct to come to City Hall. Everything has to be checked in and then we have to input all of that and upload it to a dedicated computer. And we have to wait until all the results are in, which the AV counting board, we did move that back here. It used to be at the Richard Young Center. It's a little bit quicker now, as far as getting the AV. I didn't think it was too bad, actually. I think we got the results by 10:30.
11:45.
By the time they posted it, probably Wayne County. I'll go look and see. Anyway, but we did bring I know that a lot of the candidates went to each of the polling locations because those results from the precincts are posted there. And we asked the chairs to bring them back here, those tabulated tapes, so we could post it here. So if they wanted to. So we're kind of going back a few years, but you're not going to get them as quick as you used to. So, once all the voting results were returned and uploaded, they were sent securely to Wayne County. And I tried to think about that. Okay, thank you to all of the candidates, like Councilman Constant said, for their willingness to serve our community. Congratulations to the successful candidates who will appear on the November 7th ballot. For all those candidates, this is just a reminder that per our sign ordinance, those signs need to be removed from the yards or wherever they're at within 5 days of the election.
Yep.
So anybody out there, make sure they're gone, okay? Because that way you can have ordinance do other things. I do want to let you know, though, that now that this election is over, Dana and I are going to start seriously, well, we've been thinking about it, Prop 2. Okay, and our state rep is here, our commissioner is here. We may be, turning to you for whatever we need. I know.
Yeah.
What's that? Did they turn it down now? Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
But no squeaks, okay. Wayne County has a phenomenal team that I can always look to for as far as the clerk's office. And one last thing. I think I want a competition going on here, okay? Who do you think, which precinct had the highest turnout for this election?
Addison.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in this 11,
You think it?
okay? They had 16.44. I just uploaded everything.
Let's give them a hand. Precinct 11.
And then the lowest one, I won't mention which one, but it was not quite 6%. Okay?
Caroline Kennedy.
No.
Which one?
Oh, that's my
The library.
precinct.
Okay. Yeah.
GFK, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say something to that though,
Oh,
man.
I voted person.
Guys, man, quick, don't forget there was also construction being done.
There
Thanks to
was.
Wayne County and our
Yes.
commissioner for all that construction right around there. And I think it was only 4 votes by noon.
I
So,
think there was like 47.
yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah.
construction.
So, but we can get them ready for November to get out there and vote.
Thank you, guys.
So, and happy early birthday to Commissioner Knizia. Have a great one.
Guys,
you.
before we move forward, I think also, I know the mayor recently lost his father and I'd like to, and we should have did this in the beginning to have a moment of silence for the mayor. If we can do that real quick. Mr. Mayor, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Hi, I'm speaking as the director, Director Lawrence Hull with Parks and Recreation Department. I would like to inform the council that our gymnastics company has moved out of Dearborn Heights to Garden City due to what they felt was being undervalued by the city council. They watched the council meeting in regard to the changing of the pole from Canfield to Crestwood High School. They felt things were said about them that were very disrespectful. Last year, we made $43,000 in revenue from them, and they are still recovering from COVID. Their gymnastic classes, kids' nights out, birthday parties, and day camps served thousands of our youth residents since 2006. It is a sad day when we lose such a great program for our youth and residents and such a good source of revenue, which our city so desperately needs. Our youth programs took a large hit from this happening. And then also, I'd like to thank the years, actually 17 years, that the DPW workers and my staff helped tear down the equipment and put the equipment back up. And it's a very upsetting thing.
Thank you. I just want to add a few things here. I remember that discussion vividly. And I don't think one person, including myself, who kind of spearheaded that, said anything about the actual gymnastics person at all.
Not the person, the company.
I don't even know who the company is or the person, but I will say, ma'am, that if they don't want to take part in Dearborn Heights, we have the greatest director with us. And I think you're going to do a phenomenal job in finding a way to continue to fill in that vacancy. I think that the facility there shouldn't only be for gymnastics. The good news is we're a growing community that you can rent that space out every single day for the rest of the year. And I think you would make a lot more money on that facility.
You will not. Prior to gymnastics, we were a rental facility basically for parties, and mostly the parties were non-residents. You can't use it for a gym facility because of the way that it is. It's not regulation size. It has I don't know, a vinyl type floor or tile floor. And you can't do rental and you can't do kids' activities at the same time because there's no storage.
Why don't you turn it into a
So-
banquet hall?
Well, wouldn't have been much better as a gymnastics program that served day camp kids, youth, our youth program.
Good news
took a
is you can
huge
do
hit.
that still. You just don't have to use that company. If they don't want to be a part of Dearborn Heights, I can openly say, thank you so much
It's
for the
not that
years.
they want to not be, they would have been and would have continued. It was too difficult and too hard on their equipment to tear it down and pick it up. As you recall, I did email you and ask you to come and you thought it was just basically me being vindictive and it wasn't.
Yeah.
After that, we still didn't get anybody to help, other than the DPW workers and my staff.
Right.
So each election was very difficult for us. It was more difficult for them because they had to replace parts of their flooring. It's a program that I brought into Dearborn Heights and I worked to build it up and it became very, very successful. And now we've lost it. So it's kind of an end of an era for me. So if
All
I
right.
get emotional, that's why.
Thank you. Our treasurer?
Good evening. I just want to remind everyone that this Tuesday, August 15th, is the last day to pay your summer taxes without penalty. I do want to say thank you to our treasurer's office staff for their hard work. It's been very busy for everyone, but also thank our residents as well, who have been very patient, very kind, very cordial as they come to the window or whatever ways they choose to pay. We appreciate every phone call, every email, every thank you, every you need to do this a different way, whatever that may be. We appreciate the input and feedback. So again, that is Tuesday, August 15th. 0.5% applies August 16th, and every month, the first of each month thereafter is 0.5% added on up to 3%. One thing I want to remind everybody is that we have service days scheduled coming up on August 18th and August 25th. This is by appointment for any resident that needs some assistance navigating through the MyHalf, which is the Michigan Homeowners Assistance Fund, or your deferment for your taxes. So deferment for taxes, the form is available online, but if you'd like us to mail it out to you, we can do that. The deadline for deferment is September 15th, and there are criteria that have to be met, including income under $40,000 a year. It has to be your principal residence. You could check off one of the boxes, either over 62 years of age, have a disability, blind, quadriplegic, or eligible veteran, but that's all on the application as well. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You and I spoke earlier about the bank accounts. Is that something you wanted to bring up, right?
I will do that the next meeting.
The next meeting,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
And one other thing is, our treasurer, Lisa Hicks Clayton, is very active in social media. And, most of the time it's to help out residents who have questions because she's so knowledgeable about, activities, programs, numbers, people to call. And she's still constantly, bombarded with criticism about her capability to holding this position. And she occasionally posts things on Facebook that, says the degrees that she's obtained. And, and then someone will come on and say, your arm must be tired for patting yourself on the back. It's horrible that people do this to her. She's only doing this to show people, hey, I am qualified. You voted for me. I'm your treasurer. And that she's doing a fantastic job, and she helps out the residents, constantly. And to boot, these programs that she's taking, these educational classes, she's putting up the money herself. These aren't city funded classes she's taking. She's putting up the money herself. So all the harassment she's getting is uncalled for. She's a great person, a great treasurer, a good treasurer, but again, going to be a great treasurer. If she keeps on going the way she is, she's doing a fantastic job. And I personally want to thank you for everything you're doing for our city.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. May I say something real quick to that? And thank you for that.
Yes.
What I would hope is that there are others out there that need to be uplifted, inspired, and encouraged. So if anything, I want you to look at my life, what I've been through, what has happened. And we all know some of these things, but know that you can keep going. Know that there's hope. Encourage each other, support one another, and be positive.
Thank you so much. I don't think Councilman Dave Abdullah's had this many round of applause in a councilman. I'm just saying. I know next up we have Mr. Mayor. Is there anything you have to say? Perfect. Okay. We have next up on Zoom, Mr. Conrad, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Robert Conrad, Public Works Director. Wanted to give you the annual update on the painting of the school crossings. Since the last council meeting, we have not made any further progress due to the large rain event that we had. Did a lot of tree damage. We've been doing a lot of tree cleanup. But we do have everything cleaned up from that storm for the most part, and we do plan on getting back to painting of the street crossings. We have 5 crossings left to complete. We don't think it will take us more than a week to complete those, but we do need cooperation with dry weather and dry streets to do it. So providing those things cooperate with us, I'm planning on being able to report at the next council meeting that we've completed the painting of all the school crossings.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. And I also want you to know, I know the men and women in DPW have been really overworked with the storms and the trees and the limbs that have been out. And I mean, I see you guys. I've also been seeing a lot of street sweepers out there. So I really want to thank you guys so much for that. And let's keep up that good work. Any other?
Council Chair, actually, that's what I was gonna mention, the street sweeper. I've been seeing it more often. Can you give us more update on it, Director? Like, what's the schedule for the street sweepers?
So typically the street sweeping, we do 2 sweeps in the spring, when all the, first to get all the winter debris up. And then the second one is to get, all the helicopters and seeds that fall from the trees that, will block our storm drains. And then we primarily during the summertime, only sweep the streets on an as needed basis until fall, when we want to get the streets all cleaned up before winter. So, we have good drainage in the winter. This rain event was so severe caused a lot of little tree debris. I mean, even if big limbs didn't come down, it seemed like, the streets were littered with, a bunch of leaves and small branches and, just little things that, were better to be swept up. So, we are nearly complete with a 3rd cycle of sweeping. But that was primarily because of all the debris that was going to block the catch basins when it rained and things like that. But we're nearly complete with that. So, we should, like I say, be able to get back to painting lane lines.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Council Chair, I'm sorry. That said, I would like to remind all the residents to please keep your garbage bins on the lawn. I've been seeing it on the streets. And maybe if we can ask Priority Waste to make sure when they pick it up, to put it back on the lawn, because I've seen it after they pick it up, they put it back on the street.
Yep.
So in order to have all the street sweeper, making sure cleaning all the streets.
Thank you so much, Councilman. Councilwoman Ryer?
I did have comments, however, that the paint is not dark enough on the crossing areas. And also, is it possible to put the word school at that area as well?
I know I had those questions for Robert as well.
So there may be some that we may need to go back and refresh, because we did miss a year of painting. So, we may have to go through. I hope we don't have to repaint all of them again, but I guess the ones that maybe were more severely faded because we missed a year of painting will need a second application of paint. And I think as far as, the school labelings, if they have the school labelings there now, I think, I'll check and see if we have the stencils to freshen those up. If they don't, I would like our consultant that does all of our safety work to at least give us recommendations. I know they were going to review all these locations, but I wouldn't want to just haphazardly throw out, the word school on a pavement if it isn't in a proper location. So, we would need someone to consult with us as to, one, are they required to be in that area? And where are they required to be if we're placing them? So, but yes, if they're there, I'll check and see if we have the stencils to refresh those.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I actually had that question asked while I was with you, Councilwoman. Thank you for that. Okay, I think next up we have Director Disham. Thank you, Mr. Conrad. Go ahead, you please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me, Council Chair?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. This is Bill Dishram, Director of Ordinance Enforcement and Animal Control. I just wanted to give a brief update on what's going on in the Ordinance Department. In the month of July, our department responded to approximately 1,100 enforcements and issued 136 tickets. During this busy time, we're also in the process of moving over to the Justice Center. The move is expected to be completed by the end of next week. I'd like to thank the clerk for mentioning the signs that need to be removed. That was kind of a distraction recently. And I'd also like to thank Councilman Ahmad for making mention of the trash cans not being put in the street. That's important as well. We've had some complaints. We've been going down Ford Road recently on grass complaints. Another one of those things that ties up a great deal of our time. We actually are issuing tickets to businesses along that corridor for lack of maintenance on their property. Please remember to cut your grass and weeds. I'm sure Councilman Muscat, if he was with us, would appreciate me saying that. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my staff for all of your hard work and dedication, especially during this move. We've been very busy. This probably wasn't the ideal time for us to move, but this is a decision that was made, so we're moving forward. So thank you, and also congratulations to the city clerk's office and all the hardworking employees there. They did a wonderful job. Thank you very much, Council Chair. That's all.
Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any other comments from administration? Any other comments? Great. Now we're going to go ahead and move this open to public comments. We are going to also just remind you guys, you have 3 minutes. Please be respectful. Councilman Ahmad here is going to be holding up the sign. We're going to start with in person, and then we'll go over to Zoom. Mrs. Saputo, please state your name, your address without giving us the numbers.
Okay.
City that you're in.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Saputo and I live on Oakland Drive. I've lived there since 1986, which is 37 years. When I moved in, if I had a problem, I called the mayor's office, stated my problem, and actually got to speak with Mayor Canfield. She always took care of any problems I had. Even when Mayor Palecka was in office, my problems were taken care of, and ordinance did a hell of a job. The longer I live in the city, the more frightened I become because it seems no one wants to do their job. City Hall is only open 4 days a week. That's unacceptable. The city properties are looking worse and worse. And Michael McCaffrey actually went to the JFK library a couple of years ago, pulled weeds and laid mulch. Another thing that's not acceptable. The alley behind my house has always been taken care of by the city. And I want to say, as far as I'm concerned, the DPW does a hell of a job. I've always been very happy with them. Usually when the alley gets overgrown, I call the DPW, and in years past, there's never been a problem. Okay, we'll be out, we'll take care of it. And they do. This year, Ron told me that the responsibility of the alley belongs to the homeowner who butts up against the alley. That's not right. And that alley is so overgrown that there is no way that the residents can take care of it. And at one time, any decision by the planning commission went to, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Even though I have weeds cut behind my house in the alley, the rest of it is so overgrown, it's not possible for a homeowner to handle it, nor should they. With Inkster dropping dead bodies in this alley, it needs to be maintained by the city. Did you know that about the dead body in my alley?
No.
Okay. Well, a guy died of an overdose in Inkster, and somebody got in the car, drove the dead body to the alley behind my house and left the car and the body there. At one time, any decision made by the Planning Commission went to the council for final approval or denial. I was also told that the ordinance was changed around 2007. It was changed to ensure that the council wouldn't be sued. I was also told that the city attorney is looking at this ordinance. We elect a city council to stand up for our residents. With 1,400 signatures against the car wash in Ford Road, I would think that if it was still the responsibility of the city council to review that decision, they would have said no. That's why we elect you, to stand up for us. I've also been told that each applicant must meet 8 or 9 criteria. If they meet that, the Planning Commission must approve their application. And our neighbors attended the Planning Commission, and
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I'm gonna give you 20 more seconds, ma'am.
okay. And two of them stood up and said, we believe that you, people on the Planning Commission, are not listening to us, that our feelings don't matter. And isn't that sad when a resident can say that about their city? I've already lost one neighbor because of this proposed car wash on Michigan Avenue. She was so angry at the last Planning Commission that she just moved out, and she's putting her house up for sale. It also seems to me that if you have money in the city, you expect to have what you want, which was evidenced by the rude and disrespectful behavior of a couple of residents to the Planning Commission.
Guys, nobody from the audience, please, ma'am, I'm so sorry, your time is extra now.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah. Well, one thing I would like to ask is, would one of you call the DPW and please
Can you
ask
do me a
them?
favor? Can you give Georgianne your name and number?
Yeah.
And somebody from the administration will reach out to you first thing tomorrow morning
Yeah, okay.
or Monday. And since
What?
tomorrow's Friday, I'm sorry. But I'm thinking today's Tuesday. Okay, just please state your name, address, former corporation counsel, street address. Don't give us the numbers.
First of all, did Council Chair Pro Tem Muscat have an opportunity to speak to you? He granted me an extra minute yesterday.
No, nobody, but I will grant you an extra minute.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Gary Mayatki, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights. I want to thank Council Chair Pro Tem for the extra minute, and thank you for honoring it as well, Ad hoc Chair Baydoun. Today, I need to address the current state of our police department and why it's in the unfortunate condition that it is. There's a narrative that has been spun that our department's problems stem from our police officers and supervisors being paid too low, and that the problems could end up being addressed as long as we paid them more. My point in talking today is not to say that the pay should not increase. Indeed, that might be the best thing to do, or a thing that needs to end up being done. My point in speaking today is to say that this narrative about low pay is a false narrative. And anyone, and especially council members who want to be taken seriously, need to move on from this false narrative and address the real issues. For many years, Dearborn Heights Police Department has been considered a destination department. While the pay was not strong, Dearborn Heights PD offered something other departments could not: outstanding benefits, including a drop program, promotions all the way through chief by way of Act 78, stability for relative to many departments, and frankly, a place that you could spend your career. These things really provided employees with an incentive to stay and grow with the city. But it also underscores why the narrative is false. That is because our loss of officers is a retention problem. It is not a recruitment problem. The officers and supervisors who have left in droves came to Dearborn Heights Police Department knowing that the pay was low and chose to stay here or come here anyway. So why are they retiring, going other places, otherwise lessening their pensions from the city, and many of them losing their seniority, their job security, and otherwise? This narrative makes no sense. It does not explain what's happening. Further, especially for those with 8 to 15 years of time, they were giving up their seniority, their security, relationships that they've had for years, and risking everything that they had, all to start over brand new at a new department. Again, this narrative is false. And this is not something done by employees just to improve pay. No, this is something done by employees who perceive themselves to be in an awful work environment. And before they do leave, they want to believe that they can improve things, but they don't believe that because they've come to the conclusion that it's not going to get any better. And I say this not just as a resident, but as an attorney who has practiced law and labor and employment for just shy of 35 years. So why did this not happen? Why do we not have a functioning department? We've heard a lot about things having to deal with, for example, Joey's tragic situation. We don't have a traffic bureau anymore. We lost the officers in the traffic bureau to other departments. They left. Indeed, if you want to end up looking at something, you could look at the Dearborn Heights Fire Department and realize that the Dearborn Heights Fire Department has had no mass exodus of officers and supervisors. And that's not to take away from the leadership of the fire. It is simply to say you can't blame this on pay. And what I mean by dysfunction, 34 officers and supervisors who have left. I mean a department, no traffic department, a skeletal detective bureau. And I believe the special ops is gone. And finally,
I'm so sorry, your time is up.
oh, can I complete one?
I'll give you 8 seconds, please.
Okay. Well,
5's too short.
Then I'll have to be coming back again. But I think what it really comes down to is this. The fault for the unfortunate state of our police department is on the mayor, the police chief, and the directors whose poor leadership has failed the city, its employees, and residents alike. Thank you.
Yes, Mayor.
I just want to mention something since somebody residents again, and that's very shameful. Somebody that drew, let me just here, $2.7 million paycheck since he worked for the city's attorney for him to mislead the residents. Also disgruntled because he was not working. Excuse me,
It's not a debate.
Chair, Council Chair,
Please,
point of order.
go ahead.
Point of privilege.
Please, point of order.
Okay, so I understand why he's pissed off because like I said, he's not working for the city, got $2.7 million. There was a lot of issues that were present when he was here and he was aware of, and he failed to mention to the council, and the council body has been in meetings that we discussed in closed sessions of some of the issues that we had. And by somebody to misinform their residents why some of these left, there's a lot of active investigations on some people that left already. I have a document, 21 pages. Okay, we have the Department of Justice, which he failed to mention to the residents that we actually asked them between myself and the chief to come here and help us trying to transform our police department to a world-class department. Yes, I do agree. The fire department had great leadership. Obviously, we didn't have that in the police department. We do have a lot of issues over there. We're trying to propel our city forward, trying to make the police department world-class police department. And that's one of the reasons why we brought DOJ. And him as an attorney has been in closed meetings, previous attorney, I'm sorry, correct that. The previous attorney for the city, he was privy to that information. And he's failed to even mention that. And I tell you one thing, I am going to file grievance with the state and let the state deal with this. Because what the information he provided here was false, and we have documentation. He was present when we mentioned some of the issues we had. And also here, which when I was in 2019 with the council chair pro tem, now we mentioned this company that was milking this city. And this attorney did nothing about it. In 2019, we brought this one company that milked the city for $7.9 million since 2000. And again, let me say it again, $7.9 million. In 20 years, this company, you guys can FOIA this information. This company was supposed to be doing stuff for the city. It was not doing anything for the city. The minute this was brought up by myself when I was on council chair, pro tem, and now the council chair, pro tem Muscat, we brought this up. Within few months, this company disappeared. They were based out of DPW. So don't come here, previous attorney, to come here talk. You were privy to a lot of information. You did nothing about it. So please, if you want to address this, like I said, we'll deal with the state bar. I will be filing grievance against this here. Okay, that's all I have to say.
I mean, if I will give you 30 seconds, I will give you 30 seconds to reply.
Thank you. But I won't have to reply again because I got a lot more information than this.
You have 30 seconds. And look, guys,
Well, let's be clear on a few things. I will
Council Chair, one second.
gladly-
Council Chair,
gladly-
it's not a debate. We're trying to get into a debate. He already made his
It's not.
comment, but if he wants to
Mr.
go
Farina,
forward,
Mr.
Freeman,
it's
please, point of order.
turning into a debate. I'm just saying,
I
that's not the
understand.
purpose.
Point of order, please.
Thank you. sir.
I'm giving you 30
Thank you.
seconds. Please address the
Appreciate it.
council chair.
Absolutely.
And this is it. I'm putting an end to it.
That's
Go
not a
ahead.
problem.
We have 30 seconds. Go ahead.
If we
Start
want
the
to
clock.
address things, and if the mayor wants to do stuff that waives privilege, I will be more than glad to speak about any number of issues that reflect on his poor leadership with respect to all of these things in the city. I encourage you to end up asking them to do so, Mayor. I'll be ready for it.
Yeah, well, it'd be on a grievance with the state bar, so we'll be dealing with you on the state bar.
Thank you, guys. Point of order. We're done here. On to the next. Sorry, sir. How you doing?
Good.
Give me your
My-
name, your address, the county that you live in.
Joseph Daub, Eaton Street, Dearborn Heights.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now traffic getting here was quite dangerous on Telegraph. Yes, you do need some police patrol there during the busy times. The computers for the fire department. What's going to happen to them?
Those are police station. I'm sorry.
The police station, yeah, the police station, all right, whatever. The computers, can they be recycled, upcycled, and maybe donated to like the poor, or certain things that we can library or whoever needs them, like upgrades instead of spending more money.
So I know that the IT director or anyone, anytime we send anything out, we offer to donate it first. And if they're like too old or nobody's gonna accept them,
Well, he said 4 to 5 years old, so those are pretty new. So instead of looking at who needs the highest end computers, just give out
I agree with you. That's
And
actually
I
great.
hope the new computers have warranties, because that seems a lot of money for depending on how many computers you're getting. Now, the creek. Yes, I can say you guys are doing a decent job. Has not flooded in the last couple of years. Thank you for DPW for cleaning out the drains. But we'll still need more work on it. So maybe look at having code. I extended my gutters out about 10 feet out. I also put a sunk pump in. So maybe working us as a committee, looking at getting us off the sewers, like Canton did, where I came from. So now all that water is going down the drain.
Yeah.
So, and then that thing about 5 years ago about where's our we have our gentleman here from the state, but where's our government? Wow, Tlaib? What's her name?
Rashida
Tlaib. Can you ever come back and say what's going on with that? Because we had 5 years. We had that meeting in Annapolis when it happened.
Sure.
Well, hang on. Go ahead. Pause this time real quick for me, real quick. Yeah, Mayor.
So we are actually, there was a design for trying to do something on our property for the retention detention. So the Army Corps of Engineers already looking at something with the county. So that's Commissioner Kniezek mentioned earlier. So that was one of the things that we talked about at that meeting. So they are pursuing, obviously, the first one is the ARPA, $10 million. Once they get that cleaned up, they're also doing a parallel work, trying to figure out, what the design will be for the retention detention off of Inkster and Powers.
Right.
So once we have the information, the details, so they are working on a design, and that's from the $1.5 million that Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and Congresswoman Dingle, when they came here, presented the check.
Right.
So we are working on it, and once we have momentum and information on that, we'll pass it to the residents.
Also, keep in mind that your time is still paused. Commissioner Kinesick has also allocated $10 million to help mitigate to all of the creek, not just Dearborn Heights, but majority of.
Oh, yeah.
Dearborn Heights.
I mean, I understand all that. It's, we also have to look at, if we're gonna dredge, we don't want that stuff to come back in. So
Correct.
unless maybe you look at a organic way of using concrete retaining walls. I used to work into Home Depot when I used to do landscaping.
I used to see someone.
So large, like ponds and stuff like that, you know, you need to hold the soil back, but in an organic way where we're still letting rainwater and the animals get there to thing. So that's it.
Thank you, Joe. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Start off with your name, your address, and the county that you reside in. And the street you live on.
Blake Perry, I live on Finn Street. So I'm a disability advocate, and I advocate for people who can't speak up for themselves. So I actually went to the mayor's office about a few months ago, and I wanted to actually advocate to bring the Disability Commission back. But I think that the big focus is for it to really help engage and understand inclusion, but also help people who live in group homes. So there's like a lot of different barriers. Example, a person with a disability can be locked on a house lease, and that can cause issues like that. I think that there needs to be understanding that police should understand self-determination, language. So that's why I kind of made these flyers. So I just thought I'd always give it to the audience. I'm a strong disability advocate. So this is something that I wanted to do. The mayor's secretary said that if I had 4 people, she could, the commission can be back together. So I just wanted to thank her for that. And I have the flyers.
You can hand them to the clerk, and the clerk will hand them
out. And then maybe if people want to. Okay. Is all of them?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And so this is my first time speaking. I have a sensitivity disability, but like I'm a strong advocate. Like I used to do presentations to people I had to speak with your legislators. So I used to prep people right before they spoke with him when he was the state senator. So, and I still have the presentation.
Thank you.
Hi.
Speaking as a resident, or are you speaking as
a resident?
Okay.
I just would like to remind everybody, I kind of heard there's a garage sale at Canfield Community Center.
Can you get your name, address, and the
Kim
street you live on?
Lawrence, from Dearborn Heights. And I just would like to remind everybody that there's a citywide garage sale Saturday, 9 to 4 at the Canfield Community Center. So we have over 50 vendors. So please come and find your treasure.
Thank you. Before we go to the next, I know I've asked this before about the Disability Commission. What is going on with that? Can we get a quick update on their Corporation Council?
Yes, we had a meeting with our attorneys. We're putting together a civic association like Kingston Royal Oak has, so we can start raising money for our commissions. At the same time, we're putting together for our Disability Commission and our Beautification Commission as well. Those two, and I've met with Councilman Ahmed about this already. We had a meeting last Friday. I did an email out to Councilman Ahmed and Councilman Muscat on the commissions that we're putting together. So we are moving forward.
Okay, can you keep me in the loop on those emails?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Are you speaking as a resident, or are you speaking as
a resident is okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We kind of missed the announcements. Nancy
Name-
Breyer, Colgate
name-
Street, Dearborn Heights, Wayne County. Okay, we missed the announcements and the other gentleman that talked about the creek. We did not have a meeting last month due to really bad weather. So we will be having one this month on the 23rd, 6 p.m. The address is 3335 South Beach Daily. And also the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association will have their meeting at 7 p.m. Same location on the 24th, a Thursday. And this is a little heads up on September, the fourth Thursday of the month. We will have all 6 candidates that are running for city council with a moderator, and you will be able to ask them questions at that time. And that will be earlier at 6:30 so that everybody gets a chance to do
What
their
date is
thing.
that again?
It's going to be the fourth Thursday. I didn't look up the address for you or the time, the date.
In September?
In September. So that's September, the fourth Thursday.
That would be the 28th, I think.
The 28th of September, 6:30. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Please state your name, address, the city that you reside in.
Tony Camilleri, Midway, Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
Good evening. The last meeting I couldn't attend. And this evening, it's unfortunate, Mr. Muscat, Councilman Muscat isn't here, so I'm gonna kind of
Guys, point of order.
hold back a bit, so this doesn't look like an ambush, being he isn't here. There was a comment made 2 meetings ago on July 7th about him being sick of the lies of the safety concerns that I brought up at the banquet center at the Warren Valley Golf Course. Okay, I'm going to hold back, but they are not lies. There is documented proof. And out of respect for everybody, I'll bring this all up at the next meeting. Again, I don't want this to look like an ambush, but the investigation is proceeding. There was additional information requested from me and the other party. So that's what's being looked into, and it's taking it a step further. But there are many, many additional construction safety hazard concerns at the facility outside of what I brought up about the ceiling alone. There are 7 others. Okay, I'm putting a packet together to give to each and every one of you. It's taken a while. My phone was being fixed for 5 days. I just got it back this past Monday, so it's taken some time. But my opinion, there needs to be an investigation outside of OSHA, and there should be some sort of stop work order until this can be looked into. This is a public safety issue. This is not about me. This is not about a restaurant or a cigar lounge or even a hookah lounge. There's many, many other issues. I'm not going to back away from it, but right now that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want this again to look like it's an ambush because Mr. Muscat's not here. I will bring it up at the next meeting.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good night.
Margaret King, Mayfair Street, Dearborn Heights. I do recall at the last meeting, council chair asked Mr. Deeb for a follow-up as far as going, and he left. So with that being said, school starts back in a couple of weeks. That means fall's here. Football season. Let's all remember what Joey was doing when he was killed crossing the street. He was leaving a high school football game. Signs. How long is it going to take to put up the signs in the ground? Well, will it be done before it gets too cold and we continue to wait and put children's lives at risk? In the meantime, can we add the reflective tape to the stop signs? I have a friend of mine. We are looking into doing, if we are able to get a donation, can we put up blinking lights, solars, to help with this? If so, how long could we get to take them? So I want to thank Robert for the DPW Deputy Director for helping and getting those crosswalks done. But I'm just a little disappointed. I was hoping to hear a follow-up with it and I don't get the follow-up now. So keep in mind, it's going to be fall. I don't want to hear that it's too cold to get these done. We need to save our children's lives. These are the future. Thank you. And congratulations to everybody.
Thank you so much, Mrs. King. The last time you called me, I was getting yelled at.
That's the nature of the beast.
Thank you.
Rose
Please.
Trepepi, Tulane Street, Dearborn Heights. I appreciate you guys following through with getting our coordinator hired. But we want some action, not just mouthpiece. And as he said, with the bathrooms, it's 7 years I've been in that office that bathroom was supposed to be fixed, and it's still got the toilet of a child. And I think it's, you don't want to hear it, bullshit, but that's what it is. Somebody needs to do something and get it done. Thank you.
Thank you so much about that. Also, I'm just gonna ask, Mayor, please, if we can go up for specs on those bathrooms. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Hassan Bazzi. I live on Sheehan Drive in Dearborn Heights, Wayne County. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Ahmadi brought a very important subject tonight. Mr. Commissioner Kanizik, how are you? We're talking about these street sweepers. I got a video here. Two things. The priority management. I mean, it's not fair for these guys when they drive during the day of the trash pickup. I'm saying what I'm saying. I hope that will be taken seriously here. I mean, it's got to take some action to really resolve some of these problems. I know we talk every week. I don't know how it lands. I mean, let me bring two subjects here. These guys, when they come drive these trucks, even it's warm weather or cold weather, I mean, we have to feel with them as a resident. So like this guy, I'll have Mr. Kanizik testify to that. You know, like 4 cars, this guy has to stop and get out of his car to bring the trash outside. I mean, 4 cars. So the guy came out of his car, he brought the trash can, then he put it back. You know what? I called the non-emergency police department. I had to wait. By the time I got to somebody, I explained to them. I said, there's 4 or 5 cars in the street. I gave him the address. Maybe this is a time to come and ticket these people, you know, and start to teach some of the residents, they don't care, they don't obey the law, some lessons. I was working out of the house. I have the camera outside. I mean, no show, unfortunately. And the other thing is, I don't want to lose track here. The street sweeper yesterday. I mean, I went outside. I was yelling at some neighbors. 6 or 7 cars in the damn street. I mean, nobody cares. I called the ordinance department. I spoke to someone there. Well, I'm sorry, it's not on us. It's on the police department. I mean, I don't know. Should we call the Wayne County Sheriff? Should we call the State Department? I mean, we need action. This is unacceptable here. We're happy the street sweepers are coming to the neighborhood, to the neighbors to clean the streets, but they go like a zigzag. And I stopped the guy. I said, I do apologize as a citizen. You know, these things has to be taken seriously. What is the fine for the car park during the street? I mean, do you know what the fine is? Anybody knows what the fine is? Like to be.
It was $50 at one time.
I mean, we need to start issue these tickets here, and I don't know. Nobody's taking us serious here. Nobody cares.
Thank you, guys.
Talking to myself at the end of it.
Well, if you'd like, you can give your name and number to Georgianne, and we can have somebody from the administration follow up with that.
Like, I feel like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, what the heck?
That's a.
Huh? I'm talking. You know what? Hassan, I was listening. Okay, well, I'll do something. I'll let you know. I'll take some action on that because it is ridiculous. You know, the cars in the street. One car in the street messes up 3 or 4 houses from getting their clean.
Anybody cares.
And the street sweepers, they don't like to weave in and out of them cars. They like to go right down the curb. You know.
Thank you,
Council Chair.
I'll look into it.
Thank you, Council Chair. Mr. Bezzi, we do care, and that's why I mentioned it. And And I begged the resident to do their part too. I mean, probably we can instruct the police department to go ahead and start giving tickets, but I mean, probably at one point we're gonna have to, but
Why
mean,
have
but-
law? You don't do it.
at one point, but I mean, it starts with us. I mean, if we're not gonna do our part, I mean, this is our home. I mean, probably it's gonna end up that way. I see it, but I mean,
Hey, guys, please, Angie. Please, guys, nothing from the audience.
thank you,
Please.
Council Chair.
Thank you.
But I mean, believe me, I'll make sure, we're gonna talk to the administration, we're gonna push it through the chief, and we're gonna have an end to this. Thank you very much.
Please state your name, address.
Hassan Saab, John Daly, Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to, for the Tuesday's election, I want to thank the clerk. Honestly, you guys did a heck of a job throughout the process. Made it easier, and I want to congratulate everybody that ran. Mo, yourself, and everybody else, including myself. Everybody was a clean campaign, and on the day of election, everybody worked together. All the campaigns were helping each other, giving drinks, food to everybody. It was a good time, actually, and I thank all the residents that came out and actually voted. Two issues. One, Margaret was up here speaking about illuminated lights at the schools for school zone with solar lights on them. Problem is, if we got them donated, what is the process through the city to get them actually installed? I know it's got to go through engineering and everything because you just can't go install them because it's a traffic device. Where there's something that would take a month, take a year. Would anybody know?
Please finish your point, will we address it?
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
And then my second issue is about the garbage thing, and also it's already an ordinance that on garbage day you cannot be parked in the street. So you should be ticketed regardless. We shouldn't start. Should be a process already in. I don't know if it's ordinance or police that are doing it, but everybody should be ticketed. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Chair, you mind if I answer?
yeah, go ahead,
I
Councilman.
mean, just going back to the stop signs, I know thank you for bringing that up, but I think nobody's supposed to touch the stop signs. It's a city property and only the city can touch the stop sign. In case, can we install something? Has to go through the traffic division to see if it's state, through the police department and traffic bureau to make sure it's actually legal to do. So, we'll make sure we'll push it forward. We'll keep you informed. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Go ahead, sir. Please state your name.
Zohair Abdulhaq, 354 Rosemary. I have to say 354.
354 Rosemary. Go ahead.
Two issues I want to talk about. Thank you, Councilman Wenzel, for bringing the issue of the dispatch. When I was on the council, we pushed for it, we approved it, and we kept it in the city of Dearborn Heights. And it's been 2.5 years, and nobody knows what happened, if we have full staff or if we don't, and if we bought the equipment or not. But somebody has basically to follow up to make sure that it is up to date and the money which was allocated is spent properly and we have the right equipment and the right staff, because that is the first place anybody calls during emergency for help. The second thing I'm going to say to the mayor, and in a friendly way, I don't want to raise my voice or anything. Let's follow the charter in everything we do. We will be in good shape. We don't have lawsuits. We don't have to go to closed sessions and pay thousands or hundreds of thousands in settlement, which the residents don't know about. So let's follow the charter and hiring and firing in everything we do. And that's how it should be run. And that's how we can be safe and we save money for the city and the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdulhaq. Any more in person? Please go ahead. Name, street, and city, please.
Joanne Kuzian, I'm in Plainfield, Dearborn Heights, Wayne County. I know it's becoming a mutual admiration society here, but I worked in what we lovingly call the pit crew in the back room. And I just wanted to make a comment on the fact that with the election on Tuesday, it's amazing the job that you can do when you have a clear goal and you have cooperation and you have teamwork and you have a good leader, which we have in the clerk's office. It was great working on, the whole election, and Lynn should get another hand for that.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody in person? Like, can we move on to Zoom, please? I think we have only one. Ash. Yeah. Ash, please go ahead. Can you hear us? We just lost her, I think. She's not, I don't see her anymore, is she?
Yeah, she's still on.
She's still on. Ash Osman. Ash, can you hear us?
She did say that her internet was in and out.
She did come in a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Chair, go ahead.
Thank you. Great job, Councilman.
We're moving on.
Do you want me to ask her to unmute again? Yes.
I don't see her anymore.
She's on my participants. You see?
On the screen up there. Last chance for you.
Yeah, she is the second.
All right.
from the
Anyone
bottom.
else? Ash, are you still on there? Can you hear us?
This is the next one.
She's unmuted.
Okay, Councilor Chair.
Councilman.
Before I motion to adjourn.
One more thing, Councilman, before you do such. Anyone else on Zoom? Anyone else in the audience?
I just want to mention before I know we just wished Commissioner Kanizik early happy birthday, but before I get in trouble, my wife's birthday is tomorrow, so I want to wish her happy birthday on public TV.
Perfect. Also, happy birthday to you, Councilman. I know yours is coming up.
It's next week.
So we sing happy birthday since we're here, Commissioner. I think we're gonna do it for David and Councilman Ahmad and their wife. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Guys, really?
Yes, it's 4.
Happy birthday, Commissioner, Councilman and the wife. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
One, are you two?
Council
Council Chair, I motion to adjourn the Dearborn Heights City Council regular meeting at
Second.
8:55.
I got a second from,
Wait a minute, Council, Ash came back in.
Ash came in?
Yeah, let me
I'm
try
sorry,
her again.
before-
Oh, Ash is back.
Ash?
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
That's very loud.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. My name's Ash Offman on Rochelle Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. I just want to send my condolences to the mayor and his family on the passing of his father last week, and I'd like to take my time and ask for a moment of silence.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do that. The mayor is actually not here, but we're gonna still do that.
We already did it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again. Honor his father. Thank you guys so much.
Council Chair, again, I motion to adjourn the Dearborn Heights City Council regular meeting at 8:56.
Second.
Can I get a second? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Ready to give.